You're watching the Nation Network with your host, Vince McSham. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nation Network. I am your host, Vince McSham. If you've never been here before, we do all kinds of stuff about different forms and interests in the world of professional wrestling, which today we're going to talk about the legalities that take place in the world of professional wrestling. Interesting day, to say the least, when it comes to that. Now, I've always been a big fan, this is going to sound weird, of the legal system. Not a fan of how it generally is working, but the way it's set up to work. Especially back in the old days when you were actually innocent until proven guilty. I don't know if anyone remembers those days because they're gone now. But the whole trial thing, I love legal movies, things like Few Good Men, one of my absolute favorites. Even To Kill a Mockingbird, anything with a good courtroom thing. There was a Richard Gere film with Ed Norton in his first ever role. And man, I tell you what, he should have had an Academy for that freaking role. And I'm drawing a blank on the name of it right now, but it's another one of those that's high up on my list. Just Primal Fear, I think might have been it. Anyway, I love the drama that goes into it. I love the arguing. I love, pulling the rules out, the law, and testing it and putting it up against. So when this case started 4 years ago, I was like, yeah, man, it's a great argument to make, but there's no way in hell they're going to win it. Until they did. I truly hope this goes to a court of appeals, and I hope they get waxed. Even though there really wasn't a whole lot to be had in what they won, it's still the point of the situation. So before we move any further, I've got somebody in the wings going to join me. Of course, you guys know him by now. This is Jay. Say hello, Jay.
Hello, Jay.
So, yeah. Damn. The more things change, the more they stay the same in this world. This is what's news, and WWE, I mean, all right, they got smashed. It might be an exaggeration when you hear the outcome of this thing, but it's still the point. So if you guys don't know, there's been a 4-year lawsuit going on against the WWE from a tattoo artist. And I'm actually going to bring this up on screen. Oops, I guess it'd help if I actually shared my screen first, so let me do that. There we go. So there's this tattoo artist, and her name is Catherine Alexander, and she sued the WWE 2K, and I believe WWE as well, if I'm not mistaken. 2K, no, I guess it was 2K more or less more than WWE, but she sued them for using her tattoo art that she placed on the body of Randy Orton. And of course, they do complete body scans. Now, if you think about CM Punk, when they put him in the games, they never put the Pepsi logo. A lot of times they just left an open circle there. And they didn't use the Cobra from G.I. Joe. They also left the opening. Until more recent years, where they didn't put the Pepsi logo, but they put a circle there with like blue and orange or blue and red in it. And I forget what they did for the Cobra thing, but they put something there. Well, I get why they didn't put those there. Those are trademarked items, even though it's a tattoo on a guy. Pepsi's got a trademark on their logo. G.I. Joe has the Cobra logo. But all his other tattoos stayed. So I'm just trying to figure out what the heck world I'm living in. And when you see how some of this goes in a minute, you'll maybe understand where I'm coming from. By the way, those of you guys that are watching us live right now, thank you so much. We're going to jump into the comments as well right after we go through the obvious here. So goes on to say that this has been an ongoing legal litigation and some backstage drama now. However, lawsuit has seen the two worlds and all their tendencies towards drama and upheaval collide. According to the deposition, Alexander, that's our artist, claims WWE contacted her offering to pay her $450 to use Orton's Fall tattoo sleeve design for merchandise. So they were going to sell shirts with long sleeves, and the sleeves would be replicas of his tattoo work, which probably would have sold a lot. But at the same time, if you're going to sell a lot of shirts, you probably don't want to offer somebody $450 like they don't know who Randy Orton is, and then he's going to sell a lot of shirts.
Right.
But that probably got things on the radar. Take-Two, that is our 2K friends, argued that its reproduction of Orton's tattoos was fair use in order to recreate Orton in the WWE 2K video games. Turns out that a jury in the U.S. District Court, Southern District of Illinois, didn't buy that argument and ruled that Alexander was entitled to compensation. She's going to receive a whopping $3,750. The WWE could sneeze and not even notice that money missing. It's not the dollar amount that matters. Quite honestly, this works out fine, because if that's the most you got to pay, they're going to put everyone's damn tattoos in there.
Right.
It's the point. And we're about to get to a point here in this article that there's a lot of things in this world I could say never. I never would have believed that I am going to say this. I agree with LeBron James, a man I can't even stand for a second. I hate the guy, but I agree with him. It's not the first time that a video game company, let alone Take-Two, of course, they've been sued for not asking permission before replicating a celebrity's tattoos in a video game. Back in 2016, Take-Two was sued by tattoo artists at Solid Oak Sketches who own copyrights for tattoos they've done for LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. Now, how do you own a copyright on a tattoo? I suppose technically if they went to the book, when LeBron walked in there and sifted through their book and saw one of their designs and said, I want that, there may be an argument to be had there along the Pepsi logo line. I could see that possibly happening. But if Randy walked in and said, hey, I want this thing with skulls, what?
I was just going to say, I could see that also. But if it's an original design, like this is what I want, and you bring in the sketch, I don't see them having any kind of copyright to that.
Well, here's the other thing, though. I don't know that they brought in the sketch because that's pretty elaborate. I am sure he did a lot of talking on what he wanted. He might have brought in some pictures as reference, but like, with the skulls overlaying one another, like a pile of them, like from Terminator. And then she went on to create this artwork, which he said, put that on me.
Right.
Does she own? It's a collaborative effort, number one. If it wasn't in the book already, and it's not just cut and paste. So now it's a collaborative effort. He paid you a lot of money. I can tell you right now, I got 2 sleeves. They ain't cheap.
Right.
So there is a quid quo pro happening here. I am giving you this money. You're giving me your time. That's it. Our business deal is now done. This belongs to me. You want to repossess it? I dare you to try. So there's a certain obviousness that you are giving up and relinquishing any further claims to that ink once you have placed it on the man. Anyway, LeBron James got sued. I don't know if he directly got sued or 2K got sued for using his tattoos without permission. In that instance, Take-Two won the case, which now you have a precedent set. So how the hell did they lose this one? King James even chimed in on the legal scuffle, saying, I always thought that I had a right to license what I looked like to other people for various merchandise, television appearances, and other types of creative works, like video games. Again, I hate the son of a bitch, but he's right. He does have the right. It's not because he has their tattoos that he's famous and they want him in video games. It's because he's a basketball player. If anything, they should be shutting the fuck up and just saying, hey, you see those tattoos on LeBron? Yeah, I did that. And draw off of that and build your business and your reputation.
Well, that's what Undertaker's tattoo artist out in New York, that's what he did. Everybody went to him. I tried. Yes. I could never get in. It was like a 7-year waiting list. But everybody went to him because he did Taker's tattoos. He made so much money just because of that.
I bet he made more than $3,700.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
THQ was once sued in 2012 for unlicensed use of tattoo art on the body of MMA fighter Carlos Condit, who I don't even remember him, in UFC Undisputed 3. Movies got some of the tattoo litigation action as well in 2011. Warner Brothers settled a lawsuit with Mike Tyson's tattoo artist for reproducing Iron Mike's face tattoo in The Hangover 2. Hold on a minute. How would you have reproduced it? It's already on him. So you're saying for using Mike Tyson in a movie and the fact that your tattoo's on his fucking face, and they settled? Are you kidding me? Where are your balls? This is obscene. In wrestling terminology, I guess we might call this a litigious squash match. It's not a squash match, and it needs to go higher up because this has to stop. I know there are bigger fish to fry in the world today. I get it. But if there's going to be a lawsuit over this, then it needs to come to a proper ending, and it did not happen today. 3 hours and 26 minutes is all it took the jury, by the way. I would love to.
And not only that, do you realize, you know how many people in 2K22 right now have tattoos. Can you imagine all those tattoo artists just start coming going, we want our money?
Well, here's a great one coming up. Let's hope THQ Nordic doesn't follow the example by not asking permission when Brody King gets put into Fight Forever.
No.
Guy's a friggin' billboard.
I know, right?
So, there's that. Big JH, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're feeling well. Wesley Thomas, hello to you. Corey Andrews, hello. Purist, what's up? Purist is going to be a real short one. I already told Jay coming on, I'm dead tired. It has been a horribly long day at work. There was a lot of people just getting on my last good nerve. And I was getting ready just to do a couple of quick things here. I got some scans I did for our next episode of PWI. So we'll have some nice clean pictures to reference. And next thing I know, I see this friggin' headline, and I was like, shit, we are going to talk about this for a minute. Braun Superman tat is replaced too. Now, oh yeah, I guess you have to. That's Superman. What are you going to do about that, right? That's definitely owned and operated. Oh, Kate, I promise you, man, we'd love to have you on. It's just, this is about done. I just wanted to get this out and discuss it real briefly. I need to get me some rest. It's been such a long day. My eyes are barely open right now.
Not only that, we're all on.
Yeah, and when I saw that headline, though, I was just like, "You've got to be kidding me!" First, they loosed a fucking panda bear, people, and now this.
Yeah.
With a precedent having been set with somebody winning, I just don't get that. That's the whole purpose of having a goddamn precedent,
right? And why they didn't go back to that?
Well, I gotta believe they brought it up. I mean, they're friggin' lawyers for $1 billion company. I just don't know how it didn't win. I'm going to be doing a lot of research on this. I want to get as much of the in-court. Hopefully there might be video available. If not, I'll try to get transcripts. I've got to know what argument was made here by both sides.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, this
and
is
the fact that it only took 3 hours for the jury to come to that conclusion.
Well, it's happy hour.
Oh.
You don't want to miss happy hour, so we got to get out of here by 5. Let's go. Man.
They'll be hurting. I mean, I'm just thinking. I mean, not hurting, but the time that if every person that's currently contracted by them that has tattoos, if those tattoo artists would just all gang up, and it would just eat up so much of their time It's just ridiculous. I've never heard of anything like this, and I've known hundreds of tattoo artists. I could never think of any of them doing this.
It does. The right outcome, I think, would have been that you get some sort of, like, when you look at the 2K games, it'll mention Reggie Park belts and things like that.
Right.
The different manufacturer of the belts. So in the little credits there, you also mention the tattoo artists. Randy Orton tattoos done by blah, 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 and maybe even put their phone number in there. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, or their address, their business address, or their website. You give them a plug. Now, back to your point, I mean, the Undertaker's tattoo artist, you can't get in. You're not going to get it unless you got time to kill for a couple of years. Because he did the Undertaker's tattoos, and everybody wants it. And
everybody else is put on hold when he wants new stuff.
Exactly. So anyway, I'm going to do a lot more research on this. We will come back with more of that information once I have attained it. And so we'll go that route. As for PWI, I'm thinking of tomorrow night because I didn't even realize. Matter of fact, let's check something here real quick.
Now streaming on the Nation Network, PWI Review and Relive, where along with a panel of experts, we take a deep dive into random issues of some of the most recognizable wrestling magazines in history, where contestants go head-to-head and compete in wrestling knowledge to see who will go on to be the reigning champion. Now streaming on Twitch too. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on the Nation Network.
Yeah, I don't know how I got so far off on my track there that I moved it to Tuesdays. We're going to go back to Wednesday then, because that's actually great this week, because that'll be my day off because I haven't had one yet. Right. Back to why I'm exhausted. So we're going to do Wednesday then. And then let me...
All right.
And new World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion.
Join us for Classic Calls, the live stream that captures the feel of the old days of professional wrestling. With the power of the classic board game Superstar Pro Wrestling, we bring the legends back to life as only we can.
This strength and the referee Valentine. Oh, low blow.
Names like Flair, Funk, Rhodes, Hogan, Snuka, Piper, and many others will rise to glory once again on the only channel that can contain the action, the Nation Network.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was an upset.
Look for it on Saturday evenings at 6:05 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, all right. So Wednesday and Saturdays. Again, I just don't know how I flip-flopped all that around, but that's going to be the plan. So this Wednesday should not be an issue whatsoever as I'm off. And Saturday I'm not off, but I don't think 6:05 will be an issue either. So we're going to get back on track with that. My bad. And this Wednesday's PWI, I'm not going to give you any hints on the time frame. I will just tell you it's a very, very special one because it is the very first wrestling magazine I've ever purchased.
Really?
So, still got it. Matter of fact, I spent a good half hour, what am I saying, hour and a half yesterday going through all of them and organizing them by title. In other words, all the PWIs are now together. The ring sides are all together. The wrestlers are all together. Just on and on. We got a pretty good collection of the WCW magazine. We're definitely going to have to do something on that.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. Then there were some off brands that only had one or two. And I forgot all about, there was I think it was wrestling and then the year. So like Wrestling 86 or Wrestling 89, so I got several of those. And one of the more recent PWIs that I was kind of looking at, which will be the week after, because I've already pulled two. And
okay.
The one for the week after was when they first moved to a lot of color. It wasn't just the covers and a centerfold and everything else was black and white. And it says right on there, it's like now new and improved, and it really is, because those pages are thick. They're still looking brand new, like it came off the shelf. So
Nice.
that'll be coming up as well in a week after. And it'll be a twofer because I've got a little bonus thing to show you guys. It's not something that we're going to compete with or anything like that, but it was PWI Posters number 5. And it's basically one huge folded up, like the old days with the maps before we had GPS and all that shit, and you actually had to have a map in your car. And that son of a bitch was like an accordion, and when you open it, you were never shutting that thing back together again the right way. Well, it's kind of like that, less folds involved, but when you open it all the way, and I've got some pictures of that, which we'll be looking at, all the way open, the main poster, and it was like the legit 36 by whatever posters that you see in a movie theater. It's Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan with the silver belt from right after they got rid of the green belt. And along the sides of him, it says something about how does Hogan stack up against the former champions of the WWF. And at that time, he was only like the 7th or 8th WWF champion. There wasn't a long lineage yet. So you had like Buddy Rogers, and you had Pedro and Bob Backlund and Superstar Billy Graham. Well, they're all lined up on either side of him with their title reigns. And it's just, I had that actually up on the wall for a long time. And then pulling it out and realizing that was the centerfold, I didn't know. Because as I'm opening it, first you have the women of wrestling, and you have Bambi in there, and Misty Sky, or Misty Blue. And what's her name? Missy Hyatt was in there. And then you open it up a little bit more, and then there's another thing going on there with, might have been the Freebirds or something like that. Then you open it all the way, and here's Hogan. And I was like, damn, I remember that poster being on my wall for so long. And I've actually got a poster frame in my bedroom wall that just opens up the sides, and just like a movie theater, you just pop them open, and you can put any poster you want in there. And I generally mix them up every so often. I'm thinking to myself, this might end up going back up on the wall, even for only a month or so, for old time's sake, because it's still clean, man. It looks good. So we're going to have that out here as well over the course of the next 2 weeks. So make sure that you're checking it out for the PWI R&R, which is getting some traction too, by the way. Even a little bit on...
I've noticed that.
Yeah, even a little bit on the Twitch side of things, which I know it's still, for you Twitch folks out there, thanks for sticking around. I know I took a 2-year hiatus, but now we have something like StreamYard, and it's a lot easier for me to do things that you guys can partake in. But if you want to see the actual replica wrestling stuff that we do with 2K, then you can only do that on YouTube right now. That's where I'm at. So, Jay, you got anything you want to talk about?
I started a YouTube channel, and I've got my first match for our WCW tournament going. It's 2 homebrew guys, Jason Matthew and Jay Flynn. It's about a 7-minute match, but it's a good way to start off the tournament. So anybody who wants to check it out, just look up J-Rocks, Jayrox, and you'll be able to see that first match. And there'll be more coming afterwards.
There you go. J-Rocks. That's Jyrox. Check it out on YouTube. Not going to spoil anything yet, but first match is in the book. First match, first video is in the books. Congrats, man.
Yep.
All right. Well, as the old saying goes, I ain't got to go home, but I got to get up out of here. I'm already home. Who am I kidding? All right, everybody, stay safe. Wednesday night, we're going to definitely do that thing. Tomorrow, I think I will do some 2K something or other. I don't know what. Hopefully, I'll have enough energy in me. Tomorrow's going to be an office day. I am not going into the field tomorrow at all. I'm just going to lock myself in the office, and I've got so much paperwork to get through. Hurricane took out our phone system at work, so my people use the phone to clock in and clock out. Well, they can't do that. So I have to manually create everyone's shift, clock in, clock out, lunch breaks, all of that shit. And now we're on day 3 without any phones, so it's starting to get old.
Yeah.
And I say they're on day 3 without phones. I haven't done them yet because I've been so busy doing the cleanup and everything, and getting staffing and all that crap. But Anyway, that's the boring side of the world. All right, everybody, stay safe. See you tomorrow.
Peace.